Hello everyone, I'm Monica Kincaid and this is the thought for today where we find encouragement, we build on our faith, and we stand strong in the authoritative word of God. Have you ever been so hurt deeply by someone that forgiveness felt impossible? Yes, you were being stubborn. Yes, you had every excuse as to why they did not deserve your forgiveness, let alone grace. But imagine being sold into slavery by your own family. Joseph didn't have to imagine it, y'all. He actually lived it. But years later, when face to face with the same brothers who had betrayed him, he didn't seek revenge. He offered something far more powerful, grace and forgiveness. As for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, in order to bring about this present result to preserve many people alive. Joseph's words here don't deny the evil done to him, but they do reveal something extraordinary, a God-centered vision of suffering, of purpose, and of forgiveness. When you and I examine the life of Joseph, we can see three theological truths and lessons. The first lesson is this: God's sovereignty redeems what others meant to destroy. Joseph's brothers intended to ruin him, humiliate him, and leave him for dead. But God used their evil to position Joseph to save an entire nation from the famine. As New Testament believers, we can remember these two important scriptures, Romans 8:28. God causes all things to work together for the good. In Acts 2:23, even Jesus' crucifixion was part, y'all, of God's plan. The next lesson says forgiveness begins when we see through God's eyes. This is a tough one here. Joseph forgave not because it was easy, but because he saw the bigger picture. God was at work through the pain. He had to desire, y'all, to honor God more than he wanted to honor himself and more than he wanted to seek revenge. Jesus reminds us in Matthew 5:44, but I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. And Colossians 3:13 reminds believers should be bearing with one another and forgiving each other. Whoever has a complaint against anyone, just as the Lord forgave you, you must also do the same. Our last lesson says forgiveness is grace in action. Joseph didn't just forgive them, he actually provided for them. He chose restoration over retaliation. I love how the Apostle Paul says in 2 Corinthians 5, verses 18 and 19, that we're called as ministry of reconciliation. Y'all, this reconciliation actually starts with God and not with us. It's through Christ that we are made right with God. Believers are now ambassadors. We're carrying the message that forgiveness and peace with God, y'all, are actually available. Just as God used Joseph's betrayal and his suffering to bring reconciliation to his family, he uses Christ's sacrifice to reconcile us to himself and entrusts us to do the same ministry of grace and forgiveness. Our encouraging takeaway is this: Christ redefines our pain with purpose. When we surrender and we forgive, his grace, y'all, brings healing to us as well as to others. I hope and pray that something was said on today that actually made you think about your own life, about forgiveness and about grace. May God's blessings continue to overflow you. Until next time.